Doing these investigations to make sure clowns like this don't have power to do reckless things in our government.
NANI?!
Dynamite! What's the impact if you, first and foremost, my goal here is to identify with you as you identify with me. Regardless of what party you're going to vote for in the November election, you should be voting. There's no space. I was talking to this girl yesterday, and she was telling me how she doesn't vote, she doesn't believe in the system, and I was just like, you don't have any ground to talk about a system that you're not proactively affecting. Shut the fuck up. You complaining about gas prices, you're complaining about the food, you're complaining about this. You live in Mississippi. You can't, this girl I'm talking to, I ain't gonna put her out there. You live in Mississippi. You can't drink the water right now. You ain't voted and they love it. Mississippi is a wonderful case study in how gerrymandering and the Democratic Party giving up on Democratic voters. Right? 83% voting block. Jackson, Mississippi could easily be a Democratic state. But that's too much money. Too much money. And those people don't look, there ain't enough rich white folks there to make it matter. It's crazy. But let's talk about how the justice system is supposed to work in a way where we can keep certain people out of office. Because when we don't vote, shit like this happens. A judge removed cowboy from Trump founder Couy Griffin from elected office over his role in the Capitol riot. So this Trump supporter who was at the Capitol riot and was convicted won an election. This dude won an election. And he had to be removed by a judge. A New Mexico judge invoked constitution remove of Capitol rioter from a county commissioner seat. Griffin, the founder of Cowboys for Trump, was convicted in March on a January 6th charge. The state judge ripped Griffin for attempting to downplay and sanitize the event of January 6th. In a blistering 49-page opinion, Judge Francis Matthew formally labeled the Capitol attack as an insurrection and found that Griffin's involvement fell under the disqualification clause of the 14th Amendment, which bars anyone from holding office if they took an oath to uphold the Constitution, then engaged in insurrection or rebellion, or gave aid or comfort to insurrectionists. Get fucked. You can't say you love America and then try and say you don't fuck with America. We don't like those Americans. See, I can say fuck America because I don't really fuck with America. I have no interest in this place. Matthew delivered a stern rebuke of Griffin participating in the Capitol attack and his subsequent effort to sanitize his involvement. This is a historic win for accountability for the January 6th insurrection and effort to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power in the United States. Protecting American democracy means ensuring those who violate their oath to the Constitution are held responsible. Shit, said Noah Bookbinder, president of the Citizens for Ethics and Responsibility in Washington. Strong work, strong work. But also, the only way we're able to actually find people like this is by, once again, doing those investigations, right? Doing these investigations to make sure clowns like this don't have power to do reckless things in our government. But what happens when when people who commit crimes like this, I always want to just ask them like what movie did you watch that gave you this level of confidence? What movie did you see make you think to yourself, No, I can get away with this. Video fills in details on alleged Georgia election system breach. 2 months after the 2020 presidential election, a team of computer experts traveled to South Georgia to copy software and data from voting equipment in the apparent breach of a county election system. It's crazy because you have to remember, they are going to scream from the top of their lungs that there was voter fraud, that there was election fraud. And the only signs of fraud that we are finding are coming from their side. Republicans, people in general, are very conspiratorial. But it's crazy to me when a real conspiracy is found out and in both, like, people are just quiet. Like, Jeffrey Epstein being killed in prison, in a federal prison, and that not being made headline news for the rest of our lives is mind-boggling. Like, that's the biggest conspiracy of my life, and no one's talking about it. They still talking about if Obama had a real birth certificate and shit like that. Like, that's what people want to talk about. So maybe it's like, because, you know, if people look into that too closely, bodies will start dropping. Say something bad about Putin and you from Russia. They practicing their flight from the top of the buildings. People getting sniped across the hall. They were greeted outside by the head of local Republican Party, who was involved in an effort by then President Donald Trump to overturn his election loss. You loser. Security footage from 2 weeks later raised additional alarms, showing 2 people who were instrumental in Trump's wider effort to undermine the election results, entering the office and staying for hours. Where's the picture at for this? They don't got a picture? Y'all some hoes. Georgia Secretary of State office said it opened an investigation in March and asked Georgia Bureau of Investigation to assist last month. The state officials have said the system remains secure because of multiple protections in place, which is just amazing. So they went there to try and get proof that something was wrong with the systems. They couldn't get proof that something was wrong with the system. Furthermore, the system alerted the appropriate people that, hey, someone's trying to hack into this system. And this is how we got all this information in the first place. If this wasn't the best case study to show why our elections are so secure and why the only real threat to our democracy is misinformation, I don't know what is. I really don't know what is. But let me know what you guys think. Man, the amount of people going to jail for Trump is crazy. Trump wouldn't give you a bottle of free water if you